This is a couple of blocks we did the other day on a lady who had fallen and fractured her posterior lateral 7th to 11th ribs whilst being anticoagulated. Our initial plan was for an erectospinal plane catheter, but she arrived to us in a fair bit of distress and pain, and normally we'd sort of sedate or analgese as we position patients, and it's never pleasant for them or for us. And I think this is where there's a huge amount of utility for a Serratus anterior single shot block. I think the positioning of it is perfect, because often patients' optimal position of comfort is supine with almost no movement. And all you need to do is keep them supine, pop their arm out. And for most people, you've got all the access you need to get to the right place. And this is what we did for her. I think the utility here is quite similar to how we'd perform a fascial arca block before rolling a patient with a fractured neck of femur for a spinal. And once you're proficient, you can perform the block very quickly and then set up the rest of your tray or trolley, kit, catheter, whatever you're using. And by the time you've done that, you can go back and assess the clinical efficacy, and it's quite remarkable how much analgesia patients can achieve from these. She had a great analgesic benefit from this, as we'd expect. That last rib, the 11th rib, was the one that was causing a bit of mischief. So we ended up placing the erectospinal catheter, which I haven't shown because it didn't look anywhere near as good. But while she was there, she was in the perfect position for a posterior to anterior approach for a Serratus catheter, which is what we placed, because we often find within the first 24 hours we can have a bit of trouble with the catheter management. They look great in recovery or theatre or wherever you're doing your blocks, and you go and see them on the ward 4 or 5 hours later and they're sort of in a bit of trouble again. So I think having options can be quite useful. So this is now with the patient on her side, and we're coming from a posterior to anterior approach. Often the arm hangs out of the way, so again it's a really nice block when it comes to the ergonomics. This is certainly the approach I prefer in patients that have got morbid obesity as well. And the kit I really like for this is the SUI eCath, but I think by Pajunk. It's a catheter over needle kit, and for blocks that have got like a long fascial plane or a straight landing zone, it can be perfect. So the infrainguinal fascial arca as another example, or this block as well. I think it's the time I'd reach for this bit of kit. And it's wonderful for teaching new players as well. It's essentially, if you can place a cannula under ultrasound guidance, you've got the skill set to do this. You get it into the fascia, open it up with a bit of hydrodissection, and you can walk the needle and catheter, the whole kit, into that fascial plane. And as you're doing that, what you're essentially doing is threading your catheter into your target location, which is kind of cool. You can then flick off the end of the cannula kit, and you're done. You thread in the cannula and you're finished. And this is us just scanning for the catheter, which can be quite hyperechoic, to confirm positioning at the end. Thanks so much.